When it comes to the social groups which my magazine aims towards and represents, the biggest one will have to be the rockers. This cultural group is probably more of a mass audience than a mainstream audience, as there are probably a lot of people who are into this kind of music. I think that it represents rockers in a number of reasons. The first being, and the simplest one, being the content in the magazine, as there will be numerous rock and roll artists that my target audience would like, considering that is modern rock and something that the newer generation of rockers would like compared to the older generation. I think that the younger generation of an age around 20 is probably the best to aim my magazine towards, as they are the ones that are going to be most likely to read it. For my specific social group as well, I think it's important, as people outside the social group have very stereotypical views on the social group as a whole, some of these being true and some not. However, I think that they are still the best social group to aim towards, as they have the most potential and a lot of room for adding connotations to my magazine. So with this in mind, I made sure that the kind of things I added to my magazine would represent this social group and this age group. The best example of this would be the colour scheme. The colour scheme for most of my magazine is black, blue and yellow. These kind of colours connote rebellion and youthfulness, which is something that I wanted to go for as it fits perfectly with my target audience and social group. And it's something that isn't really connoted or related to any other social group in the music groups or any other kind of magazine that I've seen. Another way in which I tried to aim my magazine towards the rock culture was with the kind of clothes my models are wearing. Before my shoot, I made sure to give my models clear instructions on what to wear and what kind of poses to do to connote the rock and roll and sort of seriousness that comes with rock and roll, but also having a bit of fun with it. I think that this was good as it was showing the rock culture, as they are stereotypically seen as being serious, so by having them dress seriously and look serious in some shots, it denoted this stereotype. However, there are some shots which showed them having a laugh and having a bit of fun. My other model also had the look which connoted him being kind of laid back, which is also another kind of nature which is associated with this kind of culture group. Another way in which my models represented the social groups and made the rockers' social group more attractive to my magazine was with the models themselves and the layout in which I placed them in the shoot. Since my main male model was in the middle of the shots with the two girls beside him, this made him look cool, and this is something that is connoted with the rock and roll with a sense of coolness and individuality. Even though in recent years it has blown up to such a mainstream genre with many different subgenres, in my magazine there wasn't really a specific subculture that I kept in mind throughout the making process. But now it's done, I think that the one subculture a magazine does aim towards is the mosher subculture. This is because of the choice I made in regard to the type of music and bands I'll be having in my magazine, as they are ones that are generally more heavy compared to other types of rock like indie. On my contents page, I use a similar method to aim towards my rocker social group. For example, with the images on my contents page, I have my main models at the top to show that they are the main story of the magazine and they will be the main kind of headliners. As well as these, I also had another model who is in a medium close-up looking towards the camera in a direct gaze. This is another story in my magazine, but not really as important as the main story. However, I think that my audience would like this.